Good horror movies unalive children on scene. That's today what we're gonna talk about on the Nightmare Scholar. Stay tuned. Hello, my fellow horror enthusiasts. Thank you for staying for another tune on the Nightmare Scholar episode. Today, we're gonna do something a little different today. Today, we are gonna ask the question, should horror movies depict child deaths in their films? Now, I didn't want to talk about this topic because how controversial and touchy this topic can be, but I didn't want it to ignore this topic as well. I also wanted to be mindful of my audiences, and I didn't want it to offend anybody. And my channel is typically not about controversies or media news, but I still feel like it's important to talk about this subject. So for those of you who don't know, one of the most gruesome and recent horror films that have came out, Terrifier 3, recently showed off not one, but several child deaths. Sort of on scene. Not all the way, but sort of. I will say Damien Leone did a good job. He found the line, but he managed to not overly cross it. He did just a teepee-toed an inch over it, but he didn't cross it. Now, as for if you guys don't know this already, I'm a huge Terrifier fan, and I am someone who is okay with boundaries being pushed. And I do respect Damien Leone very much for doing that. He's not afraid to push the boundaries and not afraid to tippy-toe over the lines, and that's what I like about Damien Leone. But I also understand the other side of why people might be upset. For those of you who might have not knew this controversy started before even the movie came out. As soon as there was a Terrifier 3 teaser trailer, somebody on Twitter, X, or Reddit, I can't remember which, I'll see if I can try to put a screenshot up here on the scene to on the screen to see to let you know what I'm talking about. But basically he was upset, calling Terrifier fans disgusting for wanting to watch this movie. Now I gotta say, if you don't like Terrifier, that's completely fine. If you don't like horror movies, that's fine. The thing with horror is it does bring a lot of controversy. For those of you who don't know, horror already has a big history of causing controversies through religious communities and other communities, and it's known for pushing social norms. For example, the Exorcist films did push a lot of controversy on the religious and conservative movements. Even the actress who played the main character, the little girl who got possessed, Linda Blair, the actress, she even got threatened by religious extremists saying that she's worshiping Satan and all that, and kind of breaks my heart considering she was a minor. And back then that movie was very controversial. Even Cannibal Holocaust had accusations that the director made a snuff film, and in fact he got arrested for rumors. Yes, he got arrested for rumors. So, needless to say, horror is nothing new to bringing controversies, and even this controversy of killing off kids is nothing new, and a lot of people would be surprised that it is absolutely legal to kill off children in horror movies. Yes, it is legal, and most directors are allowed to do it, but correct me if I'm wrong, you're allowed to unalive children in movies, but you can't do that in TV shows. TV shows it's not allowed, but movies you are. I don't know how that works. Maybe because TV shows it's not controllable on the audience who can watch it. I'm not sure. That's just my guess. But yeah, that's the case. But to critique that person's point that all horror movies shouldn't show children, I'll say this. Children dying off in media is nothing new to horror or even a general storytelling in general. Children have died throughout storytelling history. But in horror, killing off kids is nothing new. Let me lay off a couple of examples that comes off my head. I've been told that some of the Halloween movies, unalive the child character. Jaws. Jaws, literally, I think the kid, I believe he was the second person who was unalived. It was literally a shark eating a kid alive. That was brutal, and that traumatized me when I was a kid. Another example is Pet Sematary, at least the original. The original literally showed a 2-year-old little child get ran over by a semi-truck. Oh my god, I'm even reading the book, and even the book and the movie, oh my goodness, is that a little disturbing to me. Even It, by Stephen King, the movies, especially the remake. Georgie literally gets his arm ripped off by a clown. The miniseries didn't show that, but at least the remake did show that. It wasn't disturbing to me at the time when I watched it because I was an adult, and I read the book, so I knew it was gonna happen. So it didn't really trigger me at all, but I can see how it can still be upsetting to some people. Even there's another movie that's, I would say, just as brutal as Terrifier. Almost, if not maybe almost there. It's called When Evil Lurks. It's a Argentinian Spanish film about demonic possession. And unlike other demonic possession, it is very, very brutal. And yes, it does unalive a couple of kids. More than one. And unlike Terrifier, it does actually show it on screen. On screen it shows it. I still, the director of that film is crazy. He has a similar film to the Terrifier director. Demian Rugna is the one who made When Evil Lurks. He also has a similar film called Terrified. Not Terrifier, Terrified. And it's crazy that he has a similar name to a director that also makes horror films that pushes boundaries. So all this to say is, children getting killed in horror movies is nothing new. Most movies, I would say, they'll do it off screen, or they'll try to do it tastefully, but it's nothing new. Another movie I forgot to mention, Cooties. Cooties were a bunch of zombie kids attack elementary teachers. I don't know. I mean, technically, the child deaths happen after those kids turn into zombies, but I think it still counts. But either way, the point is, it's nothing new. It really isn't. Like, even in Terrifier itself, even though the Terrifier franchise itself didn't necessarily kill off kids until Terrifier 3, All Hallows Eve, if you watched All Hallows Eve at the very end, spoiler alert, everybody, Art the Clown does kill kids, and it shows the aftermath. He beheads the kids on their beds, and he writes his name on the wall in their blood. So needless to say, this is not the first time Art has went after kids. It's not the first time. But I guess most people just didn't watch All Hallows Eve and just forget about that. But especially this person, whoever posted that Twitter tweet, he definitely didn't know that. I will say this though, when I did watch it, I was watching it with one of my best friends, and I would say he did got a little disturbed. Luckily, he was one of those lucky people who did not walk out of the movie theater, but he did got disturbed. I got pretty disturbed as well when, I'm glad it didn't show the kid actually getting butchered, but it does show the aftermath, and you do hear it. Like, you do hear him getting chopped up, and you do hear the squishiness, and that was still disturbing to see. I'm not gonna lie. Even when it comes to our killing off the kids by putting explosives in their prisons, and the kids open up their prison and a giant explosion comes up, that was even disturbing. But I still support Damien Leone for doing that. Is it hard to watch? Yes, but I props to him. Props to Damien Leone for doing that. He's pushing boundaries, and I hate it when people get mad when movies do this. If you think about it, I feel that horror movies need to push boundaries, or they should at least push boundaries, because I watch horror movies all the time, Five Nights at Freddy's, and all, like, no surprise, I'm a horror fan. I watch horror movies throughout all the horror movies, all the subgenres, zombie genres, slasher, psychological horror, and almost none of them have the guts to push boundaries. And the thing is, I don't want media to get homogenized, or media to just the same thing, boring, just boring. No, I do want media to push boundaries, because horror movies, or even movies in general, they are boring. They're gonna get boring even more if they don't keep pushing these boundaries. I like when movies do that, because I feel the more they push boundaries, the more fun we're gonna have. And the thing, I should say this, what I'm glad about Terrifier and all these movies, the ones that show child carnage, they're all fake, guys. They're all fake, right? In reality, these kids are treated very, very well. I think they're probably paid more. So it's not real, and I know it can be a little disturbing, and yeah, it's not real. Movies aren't real. Another thing I should say about this, like I said earlier, if you don't like these type of movies, that's absolutely fine. If you don't want to watch it, this is a free world, free country. Go ahead, don't watch it. No one's forcing you. Just don't watch it, and watch something else that you enjoy. That's totally fine, and you should go watch what you enjoy. For example, I'm not a big fan of musicals. I'm not a big fan of drama series. Honestly, anything that I watch either has to be horror, or at least have horror elements. That's how much of a horror addict I am. If it's nothing to do with horror, doesn't have any horror elements, or it's not at least horror adjacent, I usually don't want to watch it, read it, or play it if it's a book or video game. But that doesn't mean I'm gonna force you to watch the horror movies I want. If you don't want to watch horror movies, and if you do like musical, go for it. Watch the musical. There is nothing wrong with watching what you want to love. I don't like it when people say you shouldn't watch Terrifier because it has this thing that I don't like. That's what I don't like about the Twitter. Like, I don't think he knows what he's talking about. He said he watched all Terrifier films, but he clearly didn't watch All Hallows Eve, or else he would have known that. Would have known that art was unpredictable. So that's what I have to say about this, guys. And and if you guys don't like horror, that's fine, okay? Just watch what you love, and be respectful of we like to watch it. Let us watch it, and we'll let you guys watch whatever you guys want to. Thank you guys for hearing me out have this rant, and let me know what you guys think, okay? If you guys agree with me or disagree with me, I would love to hear it on your comments below. Love you guys. Thank you so much, and please comment below what topic I should brought up next. I'm sorry for my long conversation about this, but I feel that this was important, and I feel like I had to get my thoughts out. Thank you guys, and please stay safe, guys, and have a good day, and I can't wait to see you guys in the next video.